Burt Gummer's back, and so are the Graboids. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Comic Universe, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life, and welcome once again to Netflix and Beyond, where we talk about... Beyond. So yes, this is where we talk about everything we find on Netflix or other shows.
Streaming services, online, things to that.
And technically this came out on DVD, but it was on Netflix, so I guess we're counting it. And that is Tremors 6, A Cold Day in Hell. Yeah. This is a thing. The 6th Tremor movie.
Well, you know, we were all asking for it. Like, we were all dying. Like, we needed this movie more than we needed Avengers. This movie happened. No.
You can't.
I can't even continue the skit. No, that's not happening.
Well, Kevin Bacon wanted a Tremors TV series, but Sci-Fi went, nah. So I guess we're gonna get movies. So
I actually am more interested in that.
Now it's not gonna happen apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Well. Alright, so real quick, I just want to say, if you've seen Tremors, the first one, I love it. I think it's a good movie. It's a great creature feature. I think it's entertaining. Part 2 is good. It's okay. It's passable. From there, it starts to go down the drain.
Part 3 is just a pilot for the TV series, the first TV series.
Right. There are some interesting concepts moving forward within the franchise, but they take it too comedic and they take it too slapstick, and the budget is just too low that it never really elevates the franchise, if you will. We've gone in the past and seen how we dealt with them in the past, and
that was a bad one.
And I'm sure the next one will probably be in the future.
Or in space.
How they've evolved, and now they float around in space rocks. They go through meteors. Who knows what's going to happen with this franchise? Okay, so let's talk about A Cold Day in Hell. I'll let you start it off.
So the film is pretty much Burt Gummer
and his son
going to the
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah,
that's who plays him.
Yeah,
it's Jamie Kennedy. Gotta love Jamie Kennedy. You know, son of the Mask fame.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you had to be in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they go out to Canada because there have been Graboids there, and they are apparently Graboids that were the first Graboids.
And yeah, I know, Universe, what you're saying, but Canada, isn't it cold there? Don't they live in desert and sand?
Well, apparently they evolved to live in sand, which is weird because that kind of contradicts the last one, because they said this is the African breed of Graboids were the first Graboids.
Yes, exactly. And what's kind of interesting, though, not interesting, it's actually really bad. Okay, so when this movie starts, it starts showing us, like, at first you may be like, okay, maybe it's in the Arctic, maybe they're, regardless, Canada, we all know it's cold. So there's some guys in the snow, and they're doing some groundwork, and they're kind of digging through the ice and whatnot.
And you already know where this is going.
Right, but it's in a weird shade of color, right? And it's to mask the fact that they didn't even go to anywhere where there was snow. It's not snow. It's literally sand. If you rewatch that movie, and I don't know if you caught it like I did.
I caught it.
Literally, when they're walking through it, they're kicking it up, and it's like sand. Like, I'm just like, they just changed the tone of the film to a bluish color, bluish white color, almost black and white maybe, to where, oh, maybe it looks like snow. It's just so cheesy and so bad, and I wanted to stop it. And I was like, no, I'm just going to muster through it. I've seen all the other ones. I might as freaking well.
The one saving grace for this and the other past few sequels is Burt Gummer, you know.
Yeah, he is a little better in this one than he is in the last couple of ones. And even Jamie Kennedy's a little better in this than he's been, because he's pretty annoying sometimes.
I will also say that this film, I mean, Burt Gummer, the character, this franchise lives and dies by how well that character is, because, let's face it, he's the second best hero of the horror films, the first being, of course, the King.
Right.
You know. Give him some sugar, baby, you know.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ash.
So, Burt's a silver medal, you know.
Sure, I'd give him that.
Michael Gross continues to be awesome in this franchise. Jamie Kennedy, he's all right. I guess we needed a new co-star. But yeah, all these other characters you don't care about. Well, there is one who's like, he's the cook and he's the mechanic. and he's completely insane.
There's also the girl who's the daughter of
Valentine, yeah, Kevin Bacon's character,
right?
Which is cool. I mean, it was nice to have, you know.
It would have been cool to kind of see one of the two original main characters, if you will, just appear. Maybe even at the end, but neither one show up. But at least the legacy of that character still involved in the franchise or reintroduced into the franchise. That's a saving grace. Let's talk about the Graboids. Graboids, they look cool as always.
The CGI is really bad. Like, it's, you can clearly tell
there are a few times where it does look okay. Like the actual
I'm actually glad they actually use like practical effects this time.
Yeah. Since the African one, they've changed the way the actual tongues look. They keep the cobra looking aspect of them from the African, because in the original they were more slender, more like eels, and they had like these two maybe antennae or spikes, if you will, that kind of went backwards, if you will, off their head, and their mouths were kind of just open and closed like an eel, and now they kind of more open up like a plant flower, if you will, or a predator.
Yeah.
So they are more of the African style of the Graboids. We do get a few ass blasters.
Yeah. No shriekers.
No shriekers, which I do like the shriekers. Shriekers are cool. I do think the evolution of the shriekers was really an awesome one.
And they never explain why are they skipping a generation.
Yeah, I don't know. And the ass blasters in concept is interesting. Execution was stupid because of the whole exploding farts, and we didn't necessarily need them to fly, and that's when the series really started to tank, if you ask me. But we get a few ass blasters in it. We don't get any shriekers. We do get alluded to, and I think it would have been kind of interesting, to a new type of, a possibly new type of Graboid. They don't, I think they were onto something, and I think maybe they forgot it. So in the film, Burt gets infected with a parasite type infection.
And this is actually a callback to the third movie.
Right.
Where he got swallowed by one.
Right. So he was swallowed by a Graboid, and he was infected by a parasite that lives within them and is somehow connected to them in a way where he kind of has tremors, if you will. Internal tremors, and he kind of just breaks down, almost seizing, if you will, like a seizure. And he starts having visions, and it's essentially this parasite is killing him. The direction I thought they were going in is that we were going to get some sort of new type, maybe something similar to Alien would come out, or maybe a humanoid version. And you know, and this the way the franchise was going, it's almost like the next possible evolution. That makes sense, right?
Well, the whole thing, like with the bacteria, I was like, that's kind of possible because they're prehistoric technically.
Right. Yes.
And obviously, you would have some kind of bacteria with them, so it kind of makes sense if you were. If you brought something back and it carried that kind of plague, like, it'd have been cool, like, ooh, a plague caused by the Graboids.
Right, yeah. So whether it would be a sickness that was caused by them, or just an evolution of maybe it was an impregnated into some degree and it evolved into something new, but they don't do anything with it. He's cured from it. They all band together and capture a Graboid, and, you know...
This one also has the lowest body count.
Yeah, you're right. I expected more people to die. We get an entire car swallowed by one of them.
Yeah, that there's actually weird. One scene that made me go, okay, guys, you could have saved, because there's one scene where a woman's getting pulled out by the tongues, and people are just watching, and the only person trying to save her is Burt, and I'm like, guys, you could jump in anytime. I don't know if it'd help, but come on.
Right, I mean, in this movie though, you get some scenes that kind of feel like the first movie, like when they first get to the station in northern Canada, and that's another thing. They kind of get around the no snow thing by saying this is like some sort of not a drought, but basically there's an abnormal heat wave affecting Canada. That's why it's not just blistering cold and snowstorms and snow outside. And I know, to all of our Canadian fans out there, my mother is from Canada. She's from Montreal. I know it's not just freaking snowing there 24/7, 365, but where they are is clearly in the upper northern area where you would be doing.
And it also gets darker a lot faster.
Yeah,
and they bring up the whole it gets dark around 3 o'clock, but
it didn't get dark. It was still bright as hell. This movie's just. It's a B movie. No, this is a D movie. It's almost an F movie. It's not quite that bad, but it's definitely a D movie. It's not the best of creature features.
This is not a go get the DVD. This is a go watch on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean,
if you really care.
If you're a fan of these type of movies, if you're a fan of the franchise as a whole, then yeah, I can understand going out and getting it and adding it to your collection. If you also like torture, this is a good way to torture some people who are not fans. You know, just go get it and play it for them. But there are some merits to it. Again, like we mentioned, some of the characters and the reintroducing of the legacy of what's his name, Val, is kind of cool. The fact that the Graboids still look decent, even though there's some scenes where the CGI is a little off. Like there was a scene where not an ass blaster, an actual Graboid is like flying through the air as they're trying to capture it. He basically jumping, if you will, like a whale. Think of like how a whale kind of comes out of the water, if you will. So that scene looked really bad. Looked like worse than something you would see on old school sci-fi, like made for TV sci-fi movies. This looked as bad as that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen. I think it was called Death Worms. It's worse than that CGI. But you know, again, I mean, the franchise seems to continue, and I'm actually hoping for some sort of evolution to the Graboids if they're going to continue.
Yeah.
The idea of possibly having some sort of new type of Graboid that lives inside us, I don't necessarily need them to continue with that, but or parasite or disease or whatever. But it just I kind of want to see more from what they can come up with myself. Yeah. What about you?
I'm with you on that, man. I would say that this movie is kind of like probably one of the weaker ones. I don't know if I would say the weakest, but it's up there.
I still think the one that took place in like Western.
That's the worst one.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
It's pretty bad.
So, but this is not doing any favors. So if they do continue with a new film, I would have to say I think it'd be kind of cool if we went back to Africa, maybe have Egypt or
that would be kind of cool.
Maybe the Middle East or somewhere. So let's go back to desert. Snow did not do.
And if you're gonna do snowman, give us snow. Make it seem like it's cold outside, not walking around in tank tops and stuff like that. But anyway, if I was gonna give this a rating, I'd give it a 2 out of 5. I'll be generous.
Two for me as well.
It could easily go 1. I'm somewhat of a fan of the franchise just because it piques my curiosity, just because of how cool the monster or creature is. And like you said, when it comes to horror heroes, if you will, Burt is kind of up there in the rankings. Definitely a good one to root for. And I always kind of sit back and hope the original 2 heroes will somehow make an appearance again. So
that's all we had to say. So we will see you once again in the universe.